Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor.
Scholars, today we have drama. Sorry.
Yes, we've just finished the day one. Well, just finished. It's literally Wednesday that I'm recording this, but we're after the aftermath of the entirety of the raid race. Now we're going back to our presentation, our present thing to do. Portal. And it's funny because this is now the second time that Encore has been disabled. It is almost hilarious. The Encore is just cursed. It is forever cursed. Like if we go to the screen right here, as you can see, people were finding another way to abuse and try to quickly get as much loot as possible. But why? Because the power progression grind is horrible. It is god awful. 90% of the community does not like this. However, there was a knight in shining armor that came to Bungie's defense. It's always the community that is negative, and it's never the situation that Bungie causes. That's right. We got into we got a little sparks of drama. I wouldn't say it's explosive, mostly because he kind of ran away from the situation and only proved everyone's point. But we're talking about Mr. Roflwaffles, the zombie tutorial guy who is trying his hand at Destiny and for some reason thinks he knows what's best for the community. He has his pulse on a dead corpse, a zombie, and thinks it's the Destiny community. But here we are. Let's talk about it. So this was the original tweet that's kind of kicked off the conversation. Destiny 2 team tweeted, "We have identified an issue where the Encore mission is substantially easier to complete and dropping higher quantities of rewards than intended within the Pinnacle Ops. As such, we have disabled the Encore mission with Pinnacle Ops," which they did for a day, and everyone called them out for it, and then they re-enabled it. However, they also disabled the grappler modifier, which, funny enough, was working as intended because Bungie showcased it on their live stream and people were just using grapple like it was nothing. So it is kind of funny that Bungie did this in order to counter the fact that people were speed farming. We're speed farming to get over this power progression, which is just horrible. It is not fun. It's not enjoyable. And most people don't like it. And when you try to force someone to do something that they don't enjoy, they're going to try to do it the most efficient way possible. Even if it's cheesy, whatever it is, they're going to do it. And of course, when you have a billion-dollar company that is that says, hey, play how you want to play. And when you choose to do that and they say, no, you can't do that, there's going to be backlash, which there was. However, we had an essay written by the man himself, Roflwaffles, an entire fucking essay. Let's read it, and then we're going to see my response to that, which kicked off a little spark, a little spark. No, not much, but it's definitely a little spark. Totally understand this is a tricky situation where leaving Encore untouched and having all raid racers grind to 450 power in 4 days would mean the power grind would be over before it started. Yes, that's the point. No one wants to do the grind. This hurts the player's enjoyment and long-term hurts retention long-term. No one was enjoying. The funny thing is, he unironically believed in the same sentence that people were farming Encore. And also, power grinding is fun. The enjoyment, players' enjoyment long-term. No one was enjoying that. And retention, that only hurts Bungie, which is bad for the health of the game. No. making unfun situations, forcing your players to play something that they don't really want to do. No one wants to do Encore. People are upset because, oh my God, my favorite exotic mission is gone. No. People hate Encore. It is probably one of the worst exotic missions in the game, but it is the most efficient to bypass a horrible experience. Removing Encore now means that some people have already grinded to significant power, while others were planning to start today, creating some unbalance in those who are raid racing. And I still think that to a certain extent, it did. People getting access to tier 4s and tier 4 gear could actually like help their build get to the 200s of weapon and super, which was very, very necessary. I also, obviously grinding Grasp, Avarice, Artifice for a week straight also helped them, because that's exactly what I did. Bungie is damned if they do, damned if they don't in this scenario. Who are you talking to? Are you tweeting Bungie, or are you trying to talk to the community? See, this is what I thought this was just an open letter to the community based on this post, because this is not directed to Bungie. I personally feel like leaving Encore as it was for the next 2 days would probably have been the move so that everyone was on the same page going into the raid. I agree, but I totally appreciate that by leaving it there, the implication for retention over the next 3 months until power increase might actually really be negative in their own rights. Isn't it funny how we know that it's people, the guy at 400 right now is being time gated by the power grind? So it didn't even matter because you can't even get to the high levels anyways. So the information we have now completely negates this, but in the general sense, no one wants to farm power level for 3 months. They would rather farm armor and stats. Like, that's what people care about. No one plays Diablo or like World of Warcraft just for stats, or not stats, but for like power level. They want the stats. They want to work on their build. And you essentially can't do that with tier 2, tier 3. Sure, maybe tier 3. Most people want to go for tier 4 at least to get the max, like the most juice for the squeeze, which you can't do until you start doing the power grind. Still, the main issue I think is that the portal is infinitely grindable by design. Bungie has encouraged people to play the way they want to play, and they know full well that the raid racers are going to play whatever they want, gets them the biggest advantage, the quickest, grinding Encore. Yes, that's what it is to be a gamer. Yet when the inevitable has played out in front of us, we're getting this change to nerf what they are doing. Play the way you want, except when it's too fast, LOL. I agree. This is a fair point. I almost feel like no matter what the activity of choice was for the grinders from day one, Encore wasn't the rotator, there was a different mission people would settle on that instead, we'd be seeing a nerf to that right now too, simply because it happened to be the thing everyone was doing to be most optimal. There will always be an optimal activity though. There will always be strats that people settle on, and so there will always be people going faster than others. And there's got to be a point where Bungie is comfortable with that, because their portal is infinitely grindable. It's fundamentally the design of the system. Again, another fair point. I agree. I don't know if this uncomfy decision now is ultimately the better of two evils and will be healthier for the game long term. I don't think any of us can truly know that. No, you don't know that because you're a new player. Anyone who's played this game can tell you that this is not a good grind and it's not healthy for the state of the game, because people don't want this. We already have seen a drop in the player base from the beginning of the expansion to the highlight, which was the raid, and now from the raid, which was 100K players. This peak was from the raid, and now it's the next week. It's past the reset. 30K players have just vanished. That's not good, and it's only going to get worse. No one wants to do this grind. So you're talking about the health of the game as if you understand the game. You're new to the game. You have no idea what you're talking about. Talk to the people who do understand. This is not good for the game. People would rather grind for the armor, but not for the artificial power, which is boring, and doing the same damn activities and the portal, 30 activities or so. Maybe we got a little bit more now with like Onslaught being released. You have the most bare minimal activities that no one wants to do. Half the game is soft sunset. That's what's unhealthy with the game. The fact that people have bought expansions. Hell, if you just bought the final shape, you can't even play it because none of it matters. Sure, the weapons might, you can still use weapons, but none of the armor, and you can't get pinnacle. Like, you can't grind to 450 playing Salvation's Edge, which is the most recent raid outside of Desert, like, or the dungeon Southern Doctrine, which is the most recent dungeon. You won't get another dungeon for another 6 months, but the most recent one doesn't even matter. None of it, you can't even grind it for power. So tell me what's unhealthy. Tell me what's unhealthy for the game. The lack of options and choices and the forced artificial grind, or people trying to overcome a negative issue so they can actually play the game that they want. So we go back. This was obviously going to be controversial no matter what, but I think the way Bungie announced this, remove the playlists out of thin air, then briefly explain later after the fact, could have been way better. I agree. I commend the devs for trying to communicate this year, and I think largely the comms have been really solid, even though they have not commented on a lot of the bugs that have been going on until recently. The fact that people for years, not even just this past year, but for years have complained about bugs that they're just now suddenly talking about. Like, let's not talk about the memory leak that kicks you after 5 hours if you don't have your frames capped at 60 the entire time. I've literally kept my frames capped for years, knowing that that's an issue. And they're just now suddenly, now that it's on the spotlight and you have this intense raid race going on and people are getting kicked because of it, or crashes are happening, they're like, oh, I guess we kind of need to fix it now. Like, let's not give them praise for something that they're doing the bare minimal about, especially when you have companies like Warframe that are far more communicative about what they do and why they do it. But in this specific instance, it feels like a little terse and doesn't really invite much goodwill from the player base to hear out why Bungie is making the decision this way. Because we already know. We already know. We don't need to hear Bungie and their reasons. We already know why. They want retention, artificial grind. It's not for the benefit of the player. It's for the benefit of the billion-dollar company that wants you to play their game for metrics. We know. You don't know because you're so used to Call of Duty. But we, who have played this game for years, understand why Bungie does what they do. We don't need an explanation for them. We know they just want metrics. Because no one actually thinks this grind is fun. Oops. And it's gone. It's there and it was gone. Nope. Let's see. I don't think of this can know, but I can say what certainly is the following. So this is what he says. We can say with certainty, this was obviously going to be controversial no matter what. Yes, I do think that was true. It was going to be controversial because Bungie implemented a system no one wanted and then punished people for playing how they were intended to play. There's a world where they explain why leaving it the way it is a problem for the long-term health of the game, which the player should be. First off, this again, you're giving them a pass. The issue is the power grind, and it's not helping. Like, look at the health. The health is already going down. Like, we're playing Pokemon, and Bungie just got a critical hit. Like, their Pokemon is about to be knocked out. Like, we're talking about health and what's good for the long term of the game. This isn't it, Chief. Wow, that was super effective. Bungie hit themselves in confusion. God dang it. Keep doing it. Oh, well, we'll just keep rolling with it. Sorry. There we go. Which the player should be amended to. The player should be in favor of things which help the game's long term. I love that this Joker from Zombies is telling the Destiny community that you should be acceptable. You should be on board. What's best for the game. You know what's best for the game if they actually put everything in the portal. You know, we're talking about the grind. Why is it? Do you really think spamming salt mines for like 3 hours straight is the answer? But yes, nothing's better for the game than spending 3 hours in salt mines grinding out pinnacles so you can reach an artificial number to then play the game. Yeah, it's just funny watching people who think that they understand and they don't. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. So this gets them onto Bungie's side. Wow, we've got to teach the guys. The players just don't get it. Milo is so right. The Destiny community is so fucking stupid. We don't understand why it's so important that we slow down the grind and why things have to be so grindy, because it's hurting the game. Like, you guys, you got to be on Bungie's side on this. You got to understand from their side, because you need to be willing to match them and not them match you. Even though you're the consumer, you're the customer. You need to be reasonable, guys. You need to be reasonable and play how they want you to play, not how you thought you're. Guys, you bought a game. You thought you owned the game. No. You just own the experience of suffering. That's for you. You playing the game that Bungie wants you to play. Guys, you should be willing to hear them out and be accepting of it and never question anything they do or say. You should not ask for better. You shouldn't complain. They give people advance warnings in the twid earlier today. Hey guys, this is really going to hurt the future of Destiny. We're going to give you one more day to do this, but then we're turning it off X, Y, and D. But that's the thing. It is so stupid. He's trying to do this mental gymnastic where he's trying to give Bungie the benefit of the doubt, and he's circling around the problem. Like, the problem is that people were grinding Encore not because they wanted to grind Encore, because it was only the one of the 3 activities that was worth grinding, and to get over the stupid power grind. Like, we're talking about what's best for the game, what's good for the health. Like, we're circling around trying to make it sound like we need. Oh man, I'm trying. Breathe, just keep reading. They may even be able to make it a win for people by giving out like an emblem or something. You know, it is so fucking funny. It's ironic because I keep talking about how people just love emblems. Like, Destiny players and emblems are like crack cocaine. It is so bad that even a zombie player, someone who made a living off of zombies, who just has finally come over to Destiny, has a finger on the pulse of the stupidity of the Destiny community and fucking emblems, that he's actively suggesting Bungie let's give them an emblem and that will make it better. Hey, little Timmy, we're taking this away, but emblem, you want crack cocaine? I'm sorry. It's just funny that even he understands the Destiny community and their stupid emblems. Dude, I have the contest mode emblem, and sure, I have like I wouldn't say a sense of pride. It's more like, I suffered for this. I'm just going to wear it. It does look cool. I think it looks cool. But it's not even based on like the achievement for me. It's just like, I suffered. I'm just going to wear this. But give them an emblem. Guys, you're suffering. You've complained for the power grind for years. The community even asked for Bungie to remove it. They did remove it a little bit. Then they brought it back in the most egregious form possible. Guys, it's going to be better. You get an emblem. Yeah, that's going to solve the problem. Yeah, just slap an emblem on that ass. Woo! And bam! The sentiment around the change would at least be not quite as bitter as it is right now. That's right. Come on down. Bungie presents the brand new emblem. We're taking away your ability to play the game how you want, but do not worry. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a brand new emblem. Bam! And the dirt is gone. That's right. Come on down, play the portal, enjoy the suffering, and don't worry. We're going to continue to make sure you don't play the game how you want. You're going to play how we want you to play. But hey, we've got emblems. You love emblems. You love emblems like they're drugs, right, kids? Do emblems all day, every day. That is so funny. He actually thinks, bam, give him an emblem, and that's just going to wave everything. I love visitors to the Destiny community. I love people who think they understand. It is hilarious. Sadly, the sentiment towards Bungie is often so negative that I think even in the scenario where they did the above, people would still be crucifying them for it just as much. And that's why it's so important to push against the endlessly negative people in the community. This is what I used to like Milo, but this is what makes me hate him. He's an absolute jackass. Like he's an absolute jackass. Because otherwise, if Bungie has no upside to do things better because they will get hate regardless, why would they ever bother? You know why people are pushing back against them in this situation? It's because people don't want the power grind. And instead of listening to the players, they're like, hey, we're going to introduce the power grind, but now you can farm as much as you want. We made it better. You can continue to grind as much as you want. That's like, it's like setting fire on someone's house and then giving them a small water hose, like the one that just barely squirts anything out. Like, hey, there's a wildfire. Your house is on fire, but here, have a water hose. Yeah. Just kind of sprinkle on it. No, it's not water hose. They got a sprinkler. That's better. That's a better scenario. Bungie hands you a sprinkler and you're over there trying to put out the fire and it's going very slowly, very slowly. They started the fire and they give you like this way of like putting it out. Like, didn't we do a great job? Use that sprinkler. Come on. You got it. Keep going. You almost got the fire out. Keep going. Keep going. That's the situation. Literally, Bungie starts a fire, gives the community a sprinkler and says, hey, we did you a favor. Instead of like waiting it out, you guys get a sprinkler. Continue to farm with that little sprinkler as much as you want. Yeah, we're going to read what I said, and then we'll get more into my opinion. Anyway, thanks for coming to my TED Talk on this awkward situation. Hope you enjoyed the yap. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the drama. 22 minutes in, the drama comes in. So here's what I said, and I'm going to read it straight. I think it's important to push back against the toxic positivity that tries to paint all criticism, or at least make statements that sum up the community as endlessly negative, which, to be absolutely objective, if the company itself is making massive negative choices towards players, consumers, invested gamers, then it is 100% justified that the response is a negative one. The health of the game should not be determined by a pointless metric farmer retention based power grind when most people are farming Encore in the first place is trying to circumvent a egregious system. The desire is to be able to play how people wanted to play the game, which you cannot until you reach the pinnacle of 450, because then you have access to Grandmasters and beyond, which you allow you to farm for tier 4 and then later tier 5. 3. The focus of the game should be farming tier gear, not a generic number that is pointless. People will end up spending hours to days to even in the entire season farming high tier loot, which should be the center point of playing the game. You are not guaranteed god rolls or armor. You are also not considering the amount of builds that one singular character can have now with all these stat changes and all other classes. And you have a crap ton of builds to chase and formulate, and you would spend plenty of time farming that, which matters more than what this egregious power farm is forcing players to do. The health of the game is not based on people farming the power level. The health is based on the fun factor, which if you're forced to have to play a bunch of activities that are not fun to get a power level in order to play the actual game the way that you want, that will kill the game. Players will stop investing in this game before they even get to the high tier loot. 4, we need to stop babying Bungie, who has a history of doing everything from lying, deceiving, misleading, and going back on what they say for their own best interest. The amount of time gating, the amount of stealth nerfs, the console players can't even enjoy the game. Multiple parts of the game are breaking, i.e. VOG, duality is unplayable. Even Salvation's Edge, the most recent raid, you couldn't even beat one of the encounters. Let's stop acting like people holding Bungie accountable for years of bad anti-consumer, anti-gamer, and anti-fun behavior is suddenly not acceptable, and it's just negative. Sure, it will be negative when the developer loses more of their jobs because Bungie is too busy trying to do what's best for the business over trying to cater to their players and make decisions that will end up pushing players away more than we already have happening. And just to kind of back that up, we have the data. Not only was these the lowest from even Shadowkeep had more players at launch. Hell, we have seasons that have had more players at launch than this expansion, and already it's nosediving. Not even a couple days. Like we're past the weekly reset the next week, and it's already dropped 30K players, and it's continuing to go down. So let's not act like there's no truth to what's being said. Then we have the response. That's right. The man himself. Toxic positivity. Opinion rejected. Do not pass go. Please touch grass. This man took the opportunity to look at the post, and instead of actually countering it, decided, we're not gonna have this argument. We're not gonna have this debate. Instead of actually being an adult, since he wants to since he's calling out the community. By the way, he is actively calling out the community, saying that if you are bringing criticism, essentially you're negative. You're overwhelmingly negative. The problem is the community, that we're crucifying Bungie as if they have never done anything to be justified for that. Let's see what it's funny because in this moment, I pulled it up at the same time. So people were coming to me telling me that in his stream, he was upset. So I found the exact same time because I was watching it. We watch it right after at the time, and just exactly when he was replying, and you could just visibly see how he reacts to it. So we have it right here just to see how he reacts to it. He's also reacting to other people as well. By the way, my man is just, he's upset. Like, he is keyboard worrying. Like, even when I type, I'm not like bashing my keys, but his cam is bouncing at everything. Just look at him go. Like, he's replying to multiple people. Like, he's not even streaming. He's just on. He's so hyper focused with his own tweet, and he's live. So like, he's streaming in front of people, and he's so hyper focused to replying midstream. I've done this too, but not as aggressively. In fact, he looks at it and he gets upset to the point where he just walks away. I thought I got it more. He just spent, yeah, there it is. So, there you go.
So I'm just getting baited into responding to dumb people on Twitter.
Absolutely baiting him. Yep. replying and countering his points and pointing out some of his flawed logic, pointing out, like, bringing actual fair points to counter his attack against the community. But he's attacking the community, which, granted, there's some negativity, right? But it's not like it wasn't justified. He's trying to make it sound like the problem is the community and not Bungie. And the reason why people are upset is that Bungie's continuing to make mistakes and continuing to do things that are anti what players want. But we're supposed to give them the benefit of the doubt, even though we continually do that. But he wants to disregard that. And so, in my response is I point stuff like that out. But hey, we're just baiting him, right? And he's so frustrated.
God, people are so stupid. People are actually so dumb. Ooh. I'm gonna take a minute, and I'm gonna.
Yeah, you go take your minute. You go take your minute. But yeah, he blocked me. Isn't it funny? I never thought that I would be blocked by him. Again, I've actually defended him, by the way, which is funny because there are some weirdos definitely in the Destiny community who have been like, oh, but now I get it. I can see why people don't like him. He's kind of an asshole. I mean, I'm an asshole, but he's an asshole because he completely ignores the community's criticism. And the way he views the community is the problem and not Bungie. Like, I've even seen where people say, he says like, oh, well, Lightfall isn't as bad as people say. Like, I can't believe the community is so hating on this. Like, again, he's bottling everything up based on his perception that, oh, everyone's the problem, not Bungie. So, of course, there's people replying to this, and congratulations, you're the problem. Go touch grass. Brother, you sit on a chair for longer than 12 hours on a stream, barely moving with your stinky ass. You want to come and tell other people to go touch grass because you don't agree with their opinion? Sheesh, the hypocrisy from you YouTubers is crazy. There's a difference, quite a big one. It's his job. I couldn't care less if it's a job. The guy that Milo replied to could also be doing it as a job. It's not, by the way. So it was justified to tell other people to go touch grass just because he saw two words he didn't like. Milo does it quite a lot. Not hating, but being two-faced doesn't help. Respectfully disagree. Oh, boop. Bad take, Milo. It's not toxic positivity. It's suicidal positivity. We keep talking about Bungie like they're our close friend who's going through a rough patch. Bungie is a business and we are their customers. All they do is mess with their customers' base and you expect to cover for them. That is based. Oh my God, that's such a great, yeah, he talks about it as if they're our best friends, which, by the way, he shook the hands, like he hangs out with Bungie. Like he actually, this is why you should not care about content creators who have Bungie's hand in their back wallet. Like literally, Bungie invites him to their office, and now he acts as if we're best friends. Like the community is just best friends of Bungie. Like it is insane. Waffle for fuck's sake, and this is a genuine, well thought out, articulate point, and all you can do is act like a child in response. With all due respect, go fuck yourself. With all respect, this is an awful take, and you're also making his argument stronger, trying to engage with a different approach that doesn't involve instant neglect of his argument. I understand that you're trying to pass off everything as everything is negative. I want to be positive, but this is not the way to just go against someone. Isn't it funny that he literally proved my point that toxic positivity, which we'll get to in a minute, by the way. I just want to look at more people shitting on him. We'll look at it in a minute. Let's just look at what I said. So he can't see my own post, so I'm posting again. Funny that you ignore the entire thread with logic and you get upset about toxic positivity and you block. Oh wait, hold on. I think I repost this on myself. Yeah, here. So here it is. I tagged him. It's crazy how you can provide logic and facts with historical context, and instead of being able to have an actual conversation or debate, you'd rather be a child and block because the words toxic positivity were used. Pathetic. I can see why people are hating you of recent. Shame. I liked you, some of your takes, and thought you were more into debating rather than trying to maintain a narrative that only fits you. But it's okay. Block and run. And then people did reply. Milo is a guest in this Destiny community's house, but he thinks he's someone because he hangs out with the big content creators. I know a guy who has 2,000 plus raid clears, and the community hates him because he doesn't fit their narrative. Joker responds. The man, the myth, the legend, Joker responded. As I said in another post, this interaction just screams cognitive bias. Milo, I'm not willing to engage intellectually with an argument because they used a turn or a phrase I don't like. I will then further go to insult them after bitching about how mean the community is. It is so true. He just said how mean the community is, and I wasn't even being hateful to him. I was just making facts about what's wrong with what he said. I didn't even attack him, and he's actually telling me that my opinion doesn't matter and I need to go touch grass. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Milo. Guy's been playing Destiny for 5 seconds and people flock to him like he knows what the F he's talking about. Explains the primarily Fortnite kids following that clown. If they get butthurt over the term toxic positivity, it just means you are correct. This response is exactly why that phrase was created. There's something off about this Milo guy. The alarm bells keep going off whenever you hear him speak. I totally agree with everything you say, counselor. Speak for the community. Bungie doesn't care about the community, and people have tried to justify what Bungie are doing. Needs to wake up and see Bungie doesn't care about everyone. This is the first time I haven't bought a major expansion since D1 and stood in line at a freaking game store for hours. Part of me wished I got it wrong and was going to buy it after seeing it. All the drama took away all the FOMO. The community it's toxic. It hurts Bungie. It's toxic. It hurts, but Bungie caused this. I guess that's what they meant to say. Every major D2CC. The DLC is amazing. Literally everyone else. What the fuck is this dog shit? Which is funny. If we go and look, by the way, Edge of Fate ratings. Ooh. 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 Okay. Yeah, maybe that's a little skewed. That's a little excessive. The 0. But these are PC though. So this doesn't count because we're looking at, we're all looking at PC. What about PlayStation? What about PlayStation? Let's look at PlayStation. Like PC, that you could also look at Steam too, by the way. Look, we'll look at Steam just for science. Yeah, it's mixed. Yeah, so it's obviously not, it's not working out, Chief. There it is. He proved your point with the behavior though. I hate to sound like some entitled lead as asshole, but last I call, that waffle guy hasn't been playing long enough to really know how Bungie is. They seem to be giving Bungie way too much benefit of the doubt on various things, but given how they dismiss everything, you said when you insulted their toxic positivity, it shows they are part of the problem. When any of and all criticism of Bungie leads to hostile responses, it means those people are in a fucking cult. Okay, that turned in a direction, but yeah, it is very obvious that he was in the wrong. Oh, to me, because of how offended I am by the turn of a phrase, this is the mindset of a child, and I've defended Milo because the D2 community does have weirdos who are hyper obsessive with the game. And I've said, yeah, I've defended him too. I just doesn't make sense what he's doing. But like I said, he got absolutely shat on by the community, rightly so. The devs of Encore, a game that was led by ex-Bungie, have reported toxic positivity working environment, which was the primary reason the game ended the way it did. Should we also dismiss devs if they mention the words toxic positivity? Straight up acting like a child while there are clearly big concerns with the game, right? If you're gonna cross your arms and just chill with the current state of the game, not gonna lie, go back to COD Zombies. You deserve what they're doing to that franchise. You just proved his point. People always think you're the problem if you don't criticize what everyone else does. They simply cannot understand there are different opinions on these things, and so they hate on you. They never heard of constructive criticism, and simply Bungie did it on purpose. We've given constructive, again, the constructive criticism that we do not want power grinding has been heard in the past and Bungie changed it. And then they went back on that multiple times. So let's not act like they did do it on purpose. No wonder you were accused of. I'm not touching that. I don't know what that's an allegation. I'm not touching with a 9-foot pole. Last reply because you saw 2 words you don't. Lazy reply because you didn't like what you saw. And he expected us to read his word vomit. Toxic positivity is a major problem in all aspects of creative feats. If you can't be critical, you can't improve. Keep sucking bungo dick. Enjoy those 5K silver they gave you. Waffle to the Bungie right now. Hey, at least you'll be able to say you were able to help kill a franchise by helping the last insufferable yes man join the D2 crew. Bro, didn't you just start playing? With all due respect, because I actually do enjoy your content. Please shut up and quit acting like it. Just because you're a streamer, you know better than people who have put over a decade into this series and have seen the clusterfuck Bungie has started. Preach to the masses. Dude who barely started playing the game thinks he knows better than the people who have been playing for years and have seen how Bungie have ruined the game. So sensitive about being made fun of by the community. I didn't even make fun of him. I just pointed out his if he wanted to block me because I was being a jerk and I was making fun of him, then sure, that sound off. You have a right to be upset. I literally gave fair criticism. I didn't even attack him generally. I just said we need to stop doing toxic positivity. We need to stop. I was focused on how we react towards Bungie. I never once attacked Milo directly until he blocked me. Then I called him a coward because he is. Another trash streamer who no life this shit, and now everyone who didn't partake is completely screwed. Don't know who you are, but the D2 content creators can go fuck themselves. Don't know what. See, that's just straight hate. Like, this has nothing to do with the conversation. A streamer telling people to go touch grass is hilarious. People are allowed to criticize dumb decisions. They built the portal this way, then allowed it to happen for days while they knew the streamers were doing this, then canceled it when people who have jobs could do it. Horrible take, man. Talks about it in action. Look in the mirror. It is hilarious. He instantly proved my point just like that. Just like that, he proved my point. So here's what I said in response. I said the whole logic, but then I said this. As someone who has a master's degree in psychology, let me educate you what toxic positivity is, Mr. Milo. Toxic positivity is the excessive and ineffective promotion of positive thinking, often dismissing or minimizing genuine negative emotions. It's characterized by the pressure to maintain a positive outlook even in challenging or painful situations, which can be helpful to the mental and emotional well-being. In this instance, it's harmful to the community and the well-being of the health of the game. The more you know. What an absolute clown. I'm sorry. I had respect. I've lost all respect. Milo is an absolute clown. Like, his thoughts, he's quick to challenge the community, but when someone articulates and has a response to his points, he's unwilling to try to challenge them, to push back with logic. Instead, I'm going to display toxic positivity and completely be hypocritical, and I'm gonna ignore you and not have a conversation, even though it's funny that we need to be willing to listen and have a conversation with Bungie, like listen to what they have to say and being okay with what they have to say. But he himself is not okay listening to the community and hearing what they have to say. No. We can't do that. No. And he's not willing. He's hypocritical because he's literally doing the thing he complains about other people, like telling people to go touch grass, that their opinion doesn't matter, and that you need to go touch grass. Wow. Ain't that something? And it's funny. If there was ever a moment to show why you should not trust people who have Bungie has their hands in their pockets. Literally, this is a perfect example of someone who acts like Bungie is their friend and then proceeds to enforce that to the community. Like, hey, they're our friends, that we need street. They're not, they're $1 billion company. Their job is to make money. They're selling a product. This idea that we need to meet them where we're at. No, we're customers. We are customers. Customers are always right, even when they're wrong. But that was a little drama that happened last week. I just waited till after everything blowed over to kind of point it out. If you see this, Milo, I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. If you wanna unblock me, because I had no intention of like trying to start shit with you. I was just calling out your points. I'm willing if you're willing to be the bigger person and let go of your ego and admit, you know what, you've got some things to learn. Maybe the community isn't always wrong or negative because they want to be negative, but because Bungie does things that is negative. Like, no one wants to sit here and shit on Edge of Fate. Just because you enjoyed it doesn't mean there isn't issues. Just because you thought it was great doesn't mean that the community doesn't. Again, it's not about what you think. It's about what the majority of the gamer base thinks. You are not the center of attention. I'm not the center of attention, but I just happen to be part of the wider community that has issues with the expansion. And guess what? Bungie's a business. If you're talking about the health of the game, you want the game to be healthy, you should be catering to the masses, to the actual core audience, not the 1 percentile per 1 percentile that thinks it's the bee's freaking knees. Let's be honest. Again, I think it's scummy. I think it's cowardly, especially since I watched him debate Salta Grepo. I thought it was funny. I thought you were wrong for a lot of your points, but it was still entertaining. I thought you were more of a debater or willing to have a conversation, but instead you're going to completely prove my point and just say, just act like the core issues aren't a core issue. But hey, you do you, honey boo boo. You want to push people away from supporting you and defending you? Pop off, King. I was all on board pushing against the weirdos, but now I'm just gonna sit here and dip my tea and just let them. I'm not even gonna defend anymore. Nope, I'm not defending shit. Let the weirdos out. Who let the weirdos out? Who? Let them out. Release the weirdos. There it is. Anyways, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. I just want to cover over this because it was mildly infuriating because I had a little bit more respect for Milo. Not so much anymore. Until next time, don't forget to game out. I'm tired.